we're going to move on into Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey guys, welcome into this segment from our full-length The Onside Kick podcast. In order to get the full podcast, go down to the description, go to Blog Talk Radio / The Onside Kick to download the full thing. Enjoy, everybody. And Mark, now we're going to move into our next topic, really our second one, but on YouTube it's like, the fourth video for this podcast. And really what we're looking at right now is still related kind of the Super Bowl, but off topic, is Jimmy Garoppolo. And if you guys have not already, if you're a Bears fan tuning into this, also check out Behind the Pen, either above me or above Mark. The card should have popped out and let you guys know about that video. He talked about the Bears being all in and just Jimmy Garoppolo to the Bears. But we are focusing on where will Jimmy Garoppolo be traded, if he will be traded. And Mark, I'll throw this out first. We're going to talk about many teams, but let's just talk about the Bears first. Let's throw it out there. You're a Bears fan.
I am.
Are the Bears the team to go after Jimmy Garoppolo, and will he be in that midway orange or that kind of navy blue? You guys don't wear the orange jerseys
Yeah,
much
I miss
anymore.
those orange jerseys.
I loved them.
They're great. I think that it makes sense for a lot of reasons because the Bears need a quarterback. Pace said that there is his number one priority to answer the quarterback situation. Barkley, we figured out, is not the answer. We figured that out really quickly. Hoyer, I think we all know, is just a stopgap, if anything. And it makes sense because he went to Eastern Illinois. He's from, Arlington Heights, I believe he's from. Possibly Rolling Meadows. I don't remember. One of those suburbs. But he's from the area. It just makes a lot of sense.
You're right, Arlington Heights.
Boom, knew it.
That's a Chicago suburb, if you don't know.
That's very nearby where we are right now. And it makes a lot of sense, is basically what I'm saying. And the Bears are in a good spot to be able to make a trade. I mean, they've got the third overall pick. I'm not saying it should happen and it shouldn't, but they have the third overall pick.
Are you a Jimmy G stalker, by the way? Not only did you hit his hometown, you hit his high school. He went to Rolling Meadows.
That's right. I knew it.
Jimmy G stalker over here.
I know my Jimmy G facts.
Your Garoppolo facts.
My Garoppolo. And it makes sense. Now, as a Chicago Bear fan, if we trade the number one pick, I am livid until he goes and wins me a Super Bowl. I am livid.
But then he'll win you a Super Bowl and you'll be fine.
And then I'll forgive him.
All is forgiven.
Right? To me, if the Bears were to just straight up, it's not going to happen. If they're going to just straight up give a second, I'm thrilled. I'm like, all right, I'll take that. The second overall pick, because what else are we going to get? Pat Mahomes? I like him. But he's not going to be better than Jimmy Garoppolo is right now. It's not a better option.
You know what I think the Bears could do? And this would alleviate all of the do not trade the number 3 for
Gotta get that
Jimmy
defense
Garoppolo.
fixed.
Here's what I would do. I would, and this is me, if you know you're going to go after and you're all in for Jimmy Garoppolo, and you know the Browns, probably another team we're going to talk about in a little bit, is also looking at Jimmy Garoppolo, I would look at it and go, okay, are the Browns really going to give up the number 1 pick for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No way in
Probably
hell.
not. What I'm looking at, though, is that number 12 pick. I go, okay, if the Browns are looking to give up the number 12 in a
Which
package,
I even think is too high.
in a package for Jimmy Garoppolo, let me finish. What the Bears could do, they could try to, depending on what quarterbacks go 1-2, let's say in an ideal situation, what if no quarterbacks go? Then you can make a trade with a team, trade back, then even trade back again, and accumulate some picks until you get that first rounder where you go, okay, New England, here's the first we agreed upon. Basically making a deal where we will give you a lower pick in this range. This is what we're shooting for. Let us trade back first. Let us trade back to get that.
I don't like it because then you lose your first round pick. Still.
But what you're doing is not only are you accumulating picks, basically doing what the Patriots have done and why they've been so successful, you're getting Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I think that everyone is just downplaying Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, is he Tom Brady?
I don't think people are downgrading.
Is he Tom Brady? No. But he is the guy to me that you can build your franchise around.
It's a complete guesswork, though. I mean, it really is. That's the thing. The guy's played 2 games. 2 complete games. And, 2 complete games, not a third. He played 2 complete games And he looked great in the easiest, most quarterback-friendly system in the NFL. It's a great place to go. He's got all the skill. He's got all the potential. I'm not taking that away from Jimmy Garoppolo. But you don't know how someone's going to perform outside of this system because when we have seen it happen before, it hasn't been that great.
But to me, it's not like everyone's all about, and of course the performance is a big part because you got to go out there and play.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's mostly about what's up here. And I'm not talking about intelligence on the field. One of the biggest things that everyone says, and I'm comparing him to Tom Brady only because he's in that same system.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing, and Bill Belichick even said this when asked about Tom Brady, and he kept talking about how he studies the game so much and he's so ready for games to where he said you can't come into a film session without knowing everything because he's like, you'll throw in they won't do that. They don't do that. And Tom Brady will pull out something from 3 years ago and say, well, actually, they have done this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's when they did it. And I'm not saying Garoppolo's going to be exactly like that, but I feel like... But we've seen it in 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think his preparation was good in those 2 games?
Yeah, I think he did well in those 2 games.
I think
that no one has also seen
Garoppolo-
any tape on Jimmy Garoppolo in those 2 games.
That's a big part. I will say, after you see tape, you get to learn a little bit about him. But the big thing for me in a quarterback that I look for is how does he prepare for the game? Based on the games that we saw, I would be happy with Jimmy Garoppolo if my team traded for him because I would be confident that Jimmy Garoppolo would prepare for each game and has the ability to lead my team. It would just be, let's get fucking pieces around him.
I will say that if the Bears acquire Jimmy Garoppolo, no matter what it takes, at the quarterback position, I'm happiest with him. I can dislike the trade all I want, but I am happy with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Take him over Deshaun Watson, over Trubisky.
Yep. I would take him over any of the
Kirk
options.
Cousins,
I would take him over Tony Romo. Because that's one that people also want to have come to Chicago.
Another Eastern Illinois guy.
Exactly. Maybe Sean Payton will come and play. I don't know.
Maybe coach.
Maybe Ryan
John
Pace
Fox
will
will
do
get
it.
fired.
He's from Eastern Illinois, I believe, as well. I don't actually know that for a fact. I read it on Twitter. Ryan Pace, the GM. I don't know. Read it on Twitter. I'm not going to look it up, even though I got a computer in front of me. But the thing for me is just yes, I would love to have Jimmy Garoppolo because I think he's the best option out there. I just don't think he's the sure thing that a lot of people are saying right now.
Ryan Pace did go to Eastern Illinois.
There we go. Twitter doesn't lie. So, not in this case. But yeah, it's just I don't think it's the sure thing that people say, and that's why I'm saying the Bears, they need a safety. They need a safety so damn badly. They could use that defensive tackle as well, but they need a safety so badly.
You're thinking either Hooker or Adams at 3.
That's what I want, and I am not personally. I'm not the GM of the Bears, but I'm personally not willing to let go of the opportunity to pretty much be guaranteed to get one of those 2 guys.
And that's why with this number 3 pick, I would think the Patriots, if you're going to give them a first, of course, but with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think the Patriots would even take a second and a 4th.
Which I would do.
Or a second, a 4th, and a 5th kind of a thing. Of course, if a team's going to give them a first, they would take it. But just to kind of wrap up the Bears, 2 options I think they have. You either trade for Jimmy Garoppolo or, to me, avoid a quarterback in the draft in the first round at all costs. You can take Pat Mahomes.
For sure.
You can take Pat Mahomes in the second. I don't really rag on people who have been throwing that out in the comment section, but avoid Watson, avoid Trubisky, because if they're going to be anything, they're going to be years, and John Fox doesn't have that.
And I
would do is go out and if you don't like Hoyer, you don't like Barkley, and you don't want Garoppolo.
Shaw's technically there too.
Go out and get a guy like a veteran, like a Matt Castle, or just a veteran that it's we're gonna give him a year contract. We're not gonna win a Super Bowl with him. I'd be fine even giving fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick a year contract just you're gonna hold us over, and then next year we're gonna get our quarterback because next year is gonna be Browning. It looks like it's gonna be Mayfield, Browning, Darnold. There's going to be quarterbacks in that first round. And of course, a whole season has to happen before that, but there are options. The big thing that plays into the Bears is Ryan Pace has time. The GM, it's his job to set the overarch, and he's always in a fight. That position's always in a fight with the head coach because general manager wants to win over years. Head coach needs to win now. If they don't win next year, Ryan Pace can keep his job. John Fox won't.
And for Ryan Pace, I mean, it's not the answer anybody wants to hear except for Mike Rankin, but Jay Cutler's still on the team.
Trade his ass. Get rid of him.
Well, I don't think you're going to trade him for anything, but you can leave him on the team.
I would take a Moneyball situation. Just pay for my team soda for the entire year.
I hope that the Bears are getting free soda.
That's what I would get for Jay Cutler.
And I know you hate Jay Cutler, but I'm just saying, if you're going to be saying that this year is basically a wash anyways next year, we're just building up the team around the guy, Jay Cutler is a fine stopgap. You just sit around.
The reason why I say no is because I think that...
Because you hate him.
Well, no, it's because everyone is exhausted. Like, the whole city of Chicago is exhausted with Jay Cutler.
I don't disagree with that.
To where it's just one of those things where...
But Ryan Pace can do it. Ryan Pace can survive that. John Fox, this is exactly what your point was.
That's the
John
thing.
Fox wouldn't survive it.
Yeah.
Ryan Pace can.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. The second team I wanted to bring up was the Browns. They're looking for a quarterback.
Yep.
They could trade. I was thinking like more so, like I said, a second and a fourth. But really, if the Patriots really go, we want a first, the Browns are in, to me, the best position because they could take Myles Garrett number 1, get their defense, and then say, fuck it, let's trade the number 12 pick and package some stuff to get Jimmy G. There's our quarterback.
Yeah, the thing about the Browns is I really wish they would just give Cody Kessler a year. I do. He had some good showings.
I would take Garoppolo over Kessler, though.
I mean, I don't know. I think they're both fairly unproven, to be honest. Although one's from USC.
You're going to put Garoppolo on the same level as Cody Kessler?
Cody Kessler's played more games than Garoppolo has. Cody Kessler actually has 4...
Garoppolo looked better in 2 than Kessler looked the entire year.
Kessler has 3 games with over 100 quarterback rating. And I understand that what's his name? Garoppolo has 2 as well. 2 out of 2. I'm not taking that away from him. But I don't think
he played a
But here's the thing.
Cardinal
Cody Kessler is on the Browns. That's the end of the video, guys. He is on the Browns and he got some good games up there. I think you give him some pieces, it's at least worth seeing what you can do with him. Don't waste your draft picks on trading for somebody. You have someone who maybe is worth something, and if he's not good, then you're picking in the top next year anyways, and you can get one of those good quarterbacks that you love so much.
To me, it's a hard thing. Like
Jimmy Garoppolo will not be successful in Cleveland
any
more than Cody Kessler will.
I don't want to say one way or another. I don't want to say that, yes, he will, but I don't want to say he won't, because it's one of the things with me where I look at Jimmy Garoppolo and I look at, and this goes way back to me when I studied his film for our channel when we started doing the film breakdowns, which we're going to start very soon here on Most Valuable Podcasts. I got Deshaun Watson for my first one. I think you've got Deshaun Kaiser.
Yep.
So we got the Deshaun boys.
Yeah, that's right.
For the film breakdowns here. But I mean, I love, the thing I loved about his film, and it actually confused me that somebody in the comment section of Mike Rankin's video said he didn't, but coming out of Eastern Illinois, I was impressed with, he had a good flick and could just flick the ball right out of that pocket and get it into the air. And the thing that I look at with Jimmy G now in the NFL is basically he's had, how many years? 3 years now to kind of absorb that Patriot kind of culture. And it's that thing where when you build that thing for 3 years and he's under Tom Brady, I'm not saying Tom Brady's showing him what to do.
Because he's not.
But Jimmy Garoppolo looks like a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to learn from the best in the game. He's the GOAT. Why not do what Brady does? If Garoppolo gets traded to another team, it's not like, well, I'm on a new team. Guess I can't do what I was doing. He's going to obviously do it. And in 3 years, starting to build that habit to where I think that everyone's kind of, and this is across the board, I just think there's a lot of hate towards Jimmy Garoppolo. It might not be hate.
I don't think it's,
but it's just really downplaying where it's like.
I think the big thing for me is that there are so many people that are in your boat of he's the answer. 100% without doubt, do whatever you can, go get him.
I'm not
and
saying
then a lot of
100%,
people,
but I'm saying if my team
Yeah,
traded for him,
but-
I would. If the Vikings traded for him tomorrow, I'd be happy.
for sure. But there's a lot of people that are saying
And we have Sam Bradford.
you do, and I'm impressed that he did as well as he did last year. I didn't expect that out of him. Mostly because I thought he was going to be injured by like game 5.
My bold prediction was right. He played every game.
And I think that people are so sold on Jimmy Garoppolo and so that he is the correct answer. And like I said, I think he's the best option out there. I just don't think that teams should trade their first-round picks for him. But that because so many people are so far on this side, that people are going to bounce back to this side of it and be no, I'm going to hate on him, even if they don't really hate on him, to counter it.
Let me throw this one out at you. And this is a team that obviously we're going to talk about next here on the podcast. What if it's a team like the Cardinals, where obviously they don't have as late of a draft pick as we assumed that they would have? I mean,
like a Chiefs or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the people in that range are not going to trade for the quarter. Like the two I look at, the one in
the
that
Houston
range,
Texans
the
could.
Texans.
Yeah.
They could trade for him. I mean, Dan Graziano from ESPN, I think in his crystal ball prediction said Tony Romo to the Texans. But why not like the Cardinal? I know 13 is right by 12, and you're probably like, well, Ricky, you're probably sitting there saying, well, you know, it's pretty much like the Browns. But I look at the Cardinals, depending on what happens with Carson Palmer, and then the Texans. Because they've got a late enough pick to where they can say, you know what, screw it. Let's just trade the 25 and like a 5th or like a 6th for Garoppolo.
Yeah, which isn't... It's close enough to a second to where I'm not totally against it for sure. This is never going to happen in a million years because it's in the AFC and it's a rival, and I don't think Big Ben's actually retiring as much as people are rumoring it.
They worked a deal with, didn't they give Ryan Mallett to the Texans when Ryan Mallett was traded?
Oh, I was going with Pittsburgh.
Oh, I was going with the Texans.
Yeah, if Big Ben, because people are pulling the rumors of Big Ben actually retiring.
I was thinking that in my head. I thought you were talking about the Texans with Mallett.
I also think the Mallett thing was the Patriots wanted to get rid of Mallett.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They just kind of don't have a choice. They got to get something out of him. Otherwise, he's just going to walk. And that's the thing people are saying in comment sections as well. I know on Mike's video of the Behind the Pen, where they were like, well, if he's really that good, why is Bill Belichick getting rid of him? Well, his hand is forced. Well, because they believe that they have at least 3 more years out of Brady, and they only have 1 more year of Jimmy Garoppolo. And they got to do something to get something out of him.
And here's another thing, and I want to see what the people in the comment section think. Chris Carter came on the Herd today, and he mentioned that the Patriots think in their minds that they have just as good as a quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, whatever it is. You guys know I fucked that up.
Brisket, like the breakfast.
Yeah, Brisket or Brissett, like it is. They think they have a quality backup in him at number 3. So it's one of those things where we can trade Garoppolo because we have a backup at 3, a guy who, if something happens to Brady, we have a guy that we're confident in, even in the kind of third string spot.
I mean, even, Edelman probably can play quarterback, right?
He could.
Yeah.
He could. He's had a few throws.
Yeah, he has. He was a quarterback in college. But here's my thing for this is, because I know I was playing opposite to Ricky in this one. Like I said, I would be thrilled as a Chicago Bears fan to have Jimmy Garoppolo on this team, even though I would have some cautious optimism about it. I'm not going to be completely sold. We traded for a stud who just came out of a Pro Bowl in Jay Cutler, and we don't have much to show for it.
See, but that's like, I think you can't compare it.
I think it's a perfect comparison.
I don't think it is at all, because Jay Cutler has proven that this...
But not when he was out of Denver. In Denver, he came off of the best season he's had in his career.
But I'm saying is, we've seen now that the preparation wasn't there.
Hindsight is 2020. We don't know that. We don't know shit about next year for Jimmy Garoppolo.
And also, the thing is, I look at the systems, and a guy soaking in the knowledge of a Patriot system is a lot better than coming from a Denver.
For sure. People thought Matt Flynn was going to be great too. And he didn't learn shit from Aaron Rodgers, apparently.
I mean, let's be honest. That Green Bay, there is no culture, no system in the NFL that comes close to the Patriots. They're in a league of their own.
Yeah, I don't think Green Bay's that far from it,
When it comes to that culture, Green Bay, it's all about, they're all building in-house.
And that's what I'm saying. People thought Matt Flynn was going to be great. He lost his job to a rookie drafted in the 3rd round.
Well, Russell Wilson did turn out to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
He did, but people thought Matt Flynn was going to be.
Sometimes teams make mistakes, Mark.
Sometimes they do, Ricky. Sometimes they do.
To me, and this is one of those things where I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is comparable to like a Matt Flynn or a Jay Cutler. I don't think so.
I don't see how you can say that because the guy's had 2 games. We had a full season of Jay Cutler that we saw, and he looked like he was the next big thing. Matt Flynn lit up the Detroit Lions. Literally every time he's played the Detroit Lions, lights them up.
And another thing, and this is maybe because it's Bears fans commenting on Mike's videos, I think that Bears fans are a little scared of the quarterback position.
Because we don't know what the fuck we're doing with it.
Because you haven't had a really successful quarterback in a long time.
Well, Sid Luckman.
Yeah. In a long time.
That's it.
Let's put it this way. I was listening to Cap and Company last week, and he was asking, when's the last time the Bears drafted a high quarterback? It was Jim McMahon, right? And then 5 minutes later, just got something on Twitter, forgot about Cade McNown. Where I'm sitting in my car going, you don't remember Cade McNown? First overall?
There's a reason.
First overall, Cade McNown?
What was Jim Harbaugh? He was an early pick too, right?
I think so.
Rex
Grossman was 7th, I think, or
maybe 12.
Because Rex Grossman was Rex Grossman was in the draft where you guys drafted those 2 or 3 Florida guys. He was 22nd overall.
Good for him.
In 2003.
And not as high as I thought. 26 for Jim Harbaugh.
You guys had the most selections in the 23 draft as well.
Way to go, Bears. No, I mean...
Yeah, you guys selected Michael Hayes out of Penn State at 14, Rex Grossman at 22. That was the Tillman Briggs draft.
Good times.
I thought you guys had Justin Gage. Oh, yeah, Tron LaFlavor. And I want to say... Oh, there was one more Florida guy, I thought. Oh, I thought there was 3. There was only 2.
I just want... my big thing, because I'm a bit of a hater in this video, is... I
Very much so.
The thing I want to say is just that people who are so sure, I think that they're being a little bit hopeful. And I don't blame it, but I just think I think you're being a little foolish to say 100% this is great. I think that we need to just pump the brakes and say, yes, there is good potential here, but let's see what happens, because there's been good potential for a lot of quarterbacks, and it hasn't worked a lot of times.
And the thing I come back with is I think he's a piece. Is he going to be Tom Brady? No. Is he going to be Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. But he's a piece you can build around. And what is the most important position in the NFL as quarterback?
I wonder how many times, and maybe people can think of more than I can, how many times one of these trades, quarterback-related trades, actually works out. Alex Smith is the only one I can think of in recent memory, besides Drew Brees.
Do you count Eli for Rivers?
No, that one doesn't count. That was basically 2 teams drafting each other's quarterbacks.
I guess.
Drew Brees worked out, but that was injury-related and freak accidents.
Peyton Manning was kind of like a trade.
And that was a free agency move.
Yeah, but the Colts let him go so he could sign with
whoever he wanted.
Yeah.
Alex Smith didn't bring them the success they expected this year.
They're still a good team, though.
They are still a good team.
I'm trying to think of quarterbacks that have moved via trade, and I just can't think of any in my head.
Of course, someone in the comment section is going to say Castle.
Well, Castle, but Carson Palmer got traded to Oakland, and it didn't work. But then he got to
Bradford's
Arizona.
potential. Bradford has potential in
he had a good
Minnesota.
First season.
Yeah.
Brett Favre. I want to say I want to say Brett Favre only because I don't count the Jet year only because the only reason that happened was because Brett Favre wanted to go to the Vikings, but the Packers wouldn't trade him to a divisional team, so that's why he went to the Jets.
Went to the Jets, showed his penis, then went to the Vikings.
And he still had a good year with the Jets. So I'd throw Brett Favre in there. Had a good season with the Jets, even though I don't think they made the playoffs.
The only difference in that case, potentially, it would be the fact that
he's a legend.
We know who Brett Favre was.
He's a legend. Yeah. Then he went to the NFC Championship game and ran into a bunch of cheaters down there in the Bayou. But let us know down below what you guys think. The one thing that we didn't mention is the Patriots could just keep him. So there's that option as well. Let us know down below. They don't have to trade him yet either. They can trade him towards the trade deadline. They don't even have to trade him by this
I don't
draft.
see what the point of that would be. You'd be wasting a lot of potential there.
Let us know down below in the comment section what you guys think. Where's Jimmy Garoppolo going, or is he staying with the New England Patriots? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment from the onside kick. If you think the fun stops there, you're wrong, because click the video right over here. What are you thinking? Come on. Click it. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. Bye, everybody.